Hi everyone, my name is Keith Brooks and this is Brooks Channel. And for today's video, I'm going to be reading the next chapter for the first draft of my Outcasts novel. This time we're going to be covering chapter 9, which will be the end of Beth's origin story, the fifth main protagonist of the series. Last time we covered chapter 8, which focused on how she ended up meeting her master and ended up at the school where she trains at. And this will be covering how her journey officially begins. So without further ado, let's start reading. Chapter 9. Beth and Master Dawn sat in silence for what felt like forever. Both were thinking back to that time 8 years ago. It was a night that changed both of their lives. Now, those events, along with more recent ones, will change them again. "I'm sorry, Master," Beth said, breaking the silence. "All that happened a long time ago. I shouldn't use it as an excuse." She hung her head down, waiting for her master to continue reprimanding her. "That is somewhat true," Master Dawn replied. "However, I should also apologize. I've never been one to dwell on the past, but I failed to notice how that day still affects you now." Beth looked up at him, surprised by what he was saying. "Back when you first came here, you practically begged me to teach you martial arts. After what happened, you were terrified of anything like that happening again and wanted to be strong enough to prevent it. That much I understood. After enduring such a tragedy, most in your position would react the same." Beth just sat there silently, listening to her master. That's also why Hang on. "That's also why you insist on doing the things that you do," Master Dawn continued. "Getting into fights with any student you see as strong, because if you win against them, you'll feel more sure of yourself. I really did want to help that guy," Beth said in a low voice. "I know you did," Master Dawn replied. "But you could have been hurt far worse if no one intervened." Sorry, that paragraph was a little messy. Master Dawn looked Beth in the eye with a sincere face. "Beth, you're already an exceptional martial artist, but you need to understand your limits. You've been honing your skills for a long time now, but you still have much to learn. You need to know what challenges you're ready to take on and what ones you're not ready for. Once you realize those things and keep improving like you are, and in time, you'll reach the goals you're aiming for." Beth looked back down and stayed silent for a moment. "I'm sorry, Master," Beth said softly. "You're right about everything. I really don't want anything like that to happen again. Just thinking about it scares me so much I want to puke." "I understand that," Master Dawn said to her. "But another thing you need to realize is the world isn't as scary of a place as you think it is." Beth awkwardly looked away from her master's gaze. I never said it was." Master Dawn just looked at her silently for a moment. "You always were a terrible liar." I'm not lying," Beth said unconvincingly. Master Dawn narrowed his eyes at her as he spoke. "Beth, in the last 8 years since you moved to the academy, you've never once left its grounds. Every time I or anyone else has tried to invite you out, you either say you're too busy or not feeling well." Beth stopped, knowing he was right. Master Dawn leaned in slightly with a curious expression. "Beth, have you ever thought of what you want to do after graduating?" he asked softly. Beth stayed silent for a moment, trying to think of a response. "I haven't, Master," she admitted. "I always figured I'd just stay here." Master Dawn muttered to himself. "Beth, I have nothing against you living here as long as you want, he told her sincerely, but I think it'd be good for you to go out into the world as well. Beth's eyes widened at hearing this, as she frantically tried to think of a way out of it. Master, Beth stammered, trying and failing to come up with something. In the end, she just sighed in defeat. Please don't make me. Master Dawn looked at Beth more seriously. Beth, I honestly think it would be good for you to go see more of the world, he said to her. Getting some new experiences out there might help you overcome these mental hurdles of yours. The world's so much bigger than the academy and where we met. Beth went quiet again, taking in what her master had said. For years she wanted to move past that traumatic experience and improve her skills as a fighter. At the time, beating strong fighters like Chiao Hao was the only way she could think to do it. However, as this conversation went on, she wondered if there were really other ways to do it. How can I even do that? Beth asked curiously. I still have 3 years of school left. Do I do it after I graduate? I might have another option, Master Dawn said, reaching into his desk drawer. A few days later, on a simple Saturday morning, Beth walked out to the academy gates, dressed in a white long-sleeve shirt, gray track pants, and gray sneakers. A simple black book bag was around her shoulders, packed with an array of daily essentials. She had everything she'd need for what she and her master had planned. Looking over at the entrance, she saw Master Dawn and Mark standing by waiting for her. They both looked over after noticing her approaching. Master Dawn just gave her a smile, while Mark waved to her. Beth smiled and waved back at them. Though she looked calm and happy, inside she was a nervous wreck. Morning, Beth, Mark said as Beth stopped in front of them. Did you pack everything you'll need? Master Dawn asked her. Yep, I'm all set, Beth replied. As she said this, her face looked slightly tense. It's all right if you're feeling nervous, Master Dawn said, placing a hand on Beth's shoulder. This is a big change. Beth took a small breath before looking up at her master. I'm all right, Master, Beth told him. It's just, are you sure I'm ready to do this? Master Dawn gave Beth a reassuring smile before he spoke. I wouldn't have suggested this if I didn't, he told her. This program is usually meant for students in their final year. It's mainly to help them get accustomed to the outside world before graduating. With the level of skill you have, I'd wager you're on par with most of those students. I completely agree, Beth, Mark chimed in. You're already the best in our sparring classes. By the time you come back, you'll probably be strong enough to beat Chiao Hao. Beth just looked at Mark with a small smile as he spoke. Thanks, Mark, she said to him. Here's a bit of spending money to help you get started, Master Dawn said, handing Beth an envelope full of money. You can always try finding some odd temp jobs to earn more, but be careful with your spending in case pickings are slim. And take this too, he said, handing Beth what looked like a large ticket. Beth took the ticket from her master and read it to herself. It said, I grant the student Beth Sawyer permission to compete in any and all fighting contests and / tournaments. Signed by Fu Martial Arts Academy Headmaster Dong Fu. Beth's eyes lit up as she finished reading. I can seriously compete in any tournament I want? Beth asked excitedly. As long as you show that voucher when you sign up, Master Dawn answered. They'll still need to pay whatever admission fees they have. Awesome, Beth shouted while jumping in place. I'm sure you'll do well, Master Dawn said to her. Just remember to choose where you compete carefully. Beth looked up at her master in confusion as he said that. What do you mean? Beth asked curiously. Beth, not every contest is created equal, Master Dawn told her seriously. There will be ones made for those just starting out, ones for professionals, and others somewhere in between. You need to know what contests cater to what skill levels, and what are you're most suited for. Otherwise, you could find yourself worse off than dealing with Chill Hao. Beth thought about this for a moment. She hated to admit it, but she was no match for Chill Hao as she was now. The thought of there being so many people out there even stronger than him scared her. However, if going out there could help her be stronger than them, then it was worth it. She then shook those thoughts out of her head. "I'll be careful, Master," she told him. "All right then," he said. "Now, as for where I'd recommend you go." He reached into his bag and pulled out a map of the UR. He then unfolded it all the way and pointed to where he thought Beth should start. "I'd say the South region. The border is only a day away on foot, and there aren't many people with special abilities around there." Beth looked at the map for a couple of seconds and nodded in agreement. "Sounds good," she said. "And remember to be back before the next school year starts, in September," Master Dawn told her. Beth nodded to him with a smile. "I will, Master," she said. Beth moved to Master Dawn with her arms out to hug him. He hugged her back for a brief moment with a smile. As soon as they let go, Beth went over to Mark to hug him. They embraced for a moment before Beth let go and looked up to the front gate. Still feeling nervous, Beth slowly walked right up to the gate and stopped for a moment. She turned her head back to see Master Dawn and Mark looking at her. They both waved at her with a smile. Feeling reassured, she waved back at them before turning to walk out the gate. For the first time in 8 years, Beth had left the academy for the outside world. "I know it's only for less than 4 months, but I'm gonna miss her," Mark said, with a sigh. "She'll be back before we know it," Master Dawn said. He then turned to look at Mark. "Also, Mark, I should thank you." Mark turned to Master Dawn with curiosity. "What for?" Mark asked. "For being friends with Beth," he replied. "With most of school not wanting to even speak to her, I know having you by her side helped a lot." Mark turned his head to look down at the ground. "Yeah, well, I guarantee she helped me a lot more," he said. At that moment, memories of Beth helping him do things he was too nervous to do flooded his brain, along with all the times she defended him from bullies. He formed a little smile, remembering it all. After a brief moment, Master Dawn placed a hand on Mark's shoulder. "Come on now, Mark," he said. "Beth's working to better herself, and you should too." Mark looked up at Master Dawn as he said this. "I will, Master," he said, feeling an unusual sense of determination in him. Meanwhile, standing off in the distance in the shadows, Chill Hao was watching the conversation unfold. As Master Dawn and Mark left to go about their day, he too left in a different direction. Thinking about everything he had witnessed filled him with anger. Although that was normal for him, this time there was a touch of envy thrown in. "This is BS," Chill Hao thought to himself. That little bitch gets handed a spot in the independent study program while I get rejected. Just more proof she's the head's favorite. No matter though, I'm still gonna be the strongest. I just need to prove it. About a day later, Beth had finally reached the border between the East and South regions. After what felt like forever, the Border Patrol allowed her access. Beth walked silently to the gate leading to the south, stopping for a moment to think. This is it, Beth thought to herself. No going back now. She then took a breath, balled up her fists, and continued walking. The border gate slowly opened as Beth approached it. She looked back for a moment before walking through. Then, as if it were the most normal thing in the world, she had left her home in the east for the unknown world of the south. She smiled for a moment before she started to run for what felt like forever. Beth Sawyer's adventures had officially begun. Yep, and that's it for Chapter 9. Yeah, that was a pretty simple conclusion, just everything that led to Beth leaving the academy to start up her adventures. Yeah. And eventually she'll run into the first 4 of the main guys. Yeah, Joey, Mitch, Jay, and Woody. And they'll travel together for a bit. At least that's what I have planned. Yeah. And as for this book itself, the first one, yeah, there will be 3 chapters left, and it'll introduce the sixth and final of the main protagonists. Sorry, my words got a little weird. But yeah, I'm still working through that. Yeah, I basically finished chapter 10 at the time of making this video, and I'm planning to have chapter 11, starting that up soon. So I'll try to get everything done a little sooner than normal. Yeah, once those last 3 chapters are finished, I'll make the videos of reading them. So I hope you look forward to it. And sorry if my reading got a little awkward. It was mostly my handwriting being a little sloppy. Yeah, I'll try to work on that. And in the next few chapters. But, yeah. Not much else to say, so I'm just getting the video here. And as always, please let me know your thoughts about this war in the comments. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.